You're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
That's right. We want you guys to help us keep the conversation moving forward by supporting the show. You can share it online with your friends and family. Leave us a good 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting content from. We're going to leave a couple of links right there in the description so you can do just that.
You're welcome in advance.
Yeah.
The verse of the day today is coming from Mark chapter 7, verse 15. There's nothing that enters a man from outside which can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those are the things that defile a man.
Amen. You know, you got to think about Mark talking to the Jewish population. The people who are reading this, these early Christians, they were Jewish, and so they've been told their entire lives, for generations, thousands of years, they've been told what you eat, what you put in your mouth makes you unclean. And so for someone to come out and say the exact opposite, for us, we know, well, yeah, of course, sin is inside me, and what's all that hate and that bitterness. But for them, that was game-changing.
Yeah.
That was absolutely revolutionary.
Well, this brings up the reminder that, you know, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you encounter repeatedly, if you're in a situation where you are getting angry or you are responding with kind of these self-soothing, like overeating behaviors or self-indulgent behaviors, it's what's inside of you spilling out. So it's what's inside of you that comes out that defiles a person. Sin starts in the heart.
That's right.
And it spills out into your life.
100%, 100%. We want to remind you that all these verses are coming to you from the Date the Word app. We're going to leave a link right there in the description so you can check that out. But Ryan, I got $1 million question for you, my friend.
And I love that for me.
Here comes the money. Hit it one time, David. Hey, David, hit him with a daggone, hit him with a freestyle right there. Come on.
I like money.
Hey. All right, David didn't freestyle. So this is the segment of our show where people will write in and ask us questions about, hey, would you do this for $1 million? And I got one for you today.
Okay.
$1 million. Yeah.
No, that was put the million in my hand. It's in my bank account. Sure.
But I got a checking and a saving.
Right.
And what happens is all the money's in my savings, so it's going to take like 2 or 3 business days.
I'll take both.
You don't even know the setup. $1 million, but anytime you go to speak at an event or you go to some sort of, maybe not even speak, if you just go to like a formal event, let's say a funeral, a wedding, a conference, NRB, anytime that you go to like a formal event, you don't dress up in a suit. No. You dress up as your favorite fast food mascot. So, like, what's your favorite fast food restaurant? Like, if you go in fast food, where are you going? And I know you're going to say Wendy's.
No, probably Chick-fil-A.
No way.
Yeah, probably Chick-fil-A.
No way.
I do like Wendy's. I do like Wendy's, but probably Chick-fil-A is my favorite.
Your family eats Wendy's more than any family I've ever seen in my life.
Not really. Really, it's Chick-fil-A. We eat Wendy's a lot on Sundays.
Because they're 4 for $4?
Because Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday.
Okay, fine. So you're going dressed up as the cow.
Probably the cow, yeah.
So wedding, funerals,
cow.
You're showing up as the cow for $1 million.
Yeah.
100%.
It's a black tie affair, and I got the black and white spots, so I'll be good.
I think with that, you're safe because, number one, no one's going to know it's you.
Sure.
So they're mad at somebody.
Right.
For showing.
Who is this cow? Why is there cow here?
Would you sit in the pew at the wedding?
Absolutely. Just... Hey, how are you?
And you don't even, you don't even have to speak. They're like, hey, buddy, hey, you're ruining my sister's wedding. You're just like,
moo.
I wouldn't take the money.
Who would you pick?
Probably Ronald McDonald. That or the Yokiro Taco Bell Chihuahua, but Taco Bell doesn't really have a mascot.
You're just a bell.
Yeah. A lot of fast food restaurants don't actually have mascots. Like Sonic doesn't have a mascot, unless I just dress up as Sonic the Hedgehog.
True. That's not their mascot, but it feels like a missed opportunity.
I would say probably Ronald McDonald is the only one that I can think of. Or the Burger King. Here's the thing. Dr. Shah loves Burger King.
He does love Burger King.
And I love Burger King. I've always loved Burger King, but there was this period, and I think people know where I'm going with this, where everyone had to pretend to not like Burger King.
Yeah.
There was a big thing where it's like, ugh, Burger King's nasty, Burger King's gross, and everyone just had to kind of pretend.
I do like Burger King. It's not one that's often at the top of my list, but every time I go there, I'm like, huh.
Once Dr. Shah, I hate to say, once Dr. Shah came public with his profession of faith in Burger King, I was like, you know what?
Me too.
I'm sick of pretending.
Me too.
Me too.
No, not that one.
Not that one. I'm sorry, but I you know what? Now I will take the money, and I want to show up dressed as the Burger King.
Sure.
I'm gonna take it to Dr. Shah and see what he says, because I guarantee you he'll take it.
You think he'll take the money? I know he would dress up as the king if he had to pick, but you think he would take the money?
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Like presenting a paper at ETS?
Let's ask him. Nicole's on this episode, right? We're having Nicole come in, so let's ask her. Let's ask her if she would take it. She eats a lot of Wendy's too. I just want someone to dress up as Wendy and go out in public.
Little red pigtails.
Yeah, let's ask
him. And let us know if you'd take that deal. $1 million, but every time you go to a formal event, you are dressed as your favorite fast food mascot.
I'll tell you what, if you choose McDonald's, you can pick which one. You can be the Hamburglar. You can be Grimace.
Oh, that's true. McDonald's has options.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Let's do it.
And let us know. 252-582-5028. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
Hey, what's going on, listeners? My name is John.
And I'm Ellie.
And we just want to take a second and let you know about Dr. Shah's new book on the market right now called Can We Recover the Original Text of the New Testament? Boy, that is a long title.
True, but it's a very simple message. The original text of the New Testament is not only attainable, but there are lots of different ways that scholars go about discovering it.
There's a lot of people out there saying that the original text is lost forever, or that it's hopeless to actually try to find it, or that there's many texts of the New Testament. But alongside Dr. David Allen Black, Dr. Shah has actually compiled papers from some of the world's leading experts in textual criticism, including one written by himself on various methodologies for extracting the original text. And listen, if you're interested in textual criticism, this book is a great introduction to the field.
You can pick up your copy on Amazon, or you can buy it from our church website. That's clearviewbc.org. We're going to leave a link in the description box so you can get your copy today.
Love that. Ellie, let's hop back in.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text at 252-582-5028.
That's right, and we are here once again in the Clearview Today studio with Dr. Abadan Shah, who's a PhD in New Testament textual criticism, alongside very special perma guest Nicole Shah, back once again.
The perma guest.
For the perma guest. Guys, we're going to give you each $1 million. I want you to tell me your favorite fast food place. Favorite fast food place. Mm-hmm.
Which one is yours?
Out of all the ones that I've ever been to, I guess I'd have to probably say Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. All right. All right. So, in Dr. Shah.
But since she's taking Chick-fil-A, so I love Burger King.
Okay. $1 million. Next time the next formal event you go to.
Yeah.
So it would probably be like ETS or some conference, or maybe a wedding that you're officiating. Sure. You have to dress up as the Chick-fil-A cow. You have to dress up as the king from Burger King.
Well, I would do that.
How much do I get?
$1 million.
I'll do it.
Yeah. I would do it because nobody would know who I was.
Yeah, that's true. You're pretty safe, and people would just assume that there's Chick-fil-A being catered there. That was a pretty easy one. Yeah. You would have to present your paper as the Burger King.
The Burger King guy.
Yeah. That's
I'll
rough.
do it.
You'll do it for $1 million?
$1 million?
Here's the thing.
It would be memorable. I mean, it would stick in people's minds.
Here's the
thing. A lot.
And I want to ask you this, because some of those like scholarly guys, they're kind of nerdy, they're kind of eccentric, a little quirky. If the paper is like of excellent substance, do you think they'd just be like, that was kind of weird, but he's right?
And I would say something like, I'm going to donate part of this money to
just make up a charity like
the CSNTM.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, on behalf of Burger King
or Clearview Today.
There you go.
Then they're sort of like beholden to listen. Like they have to listen.
Yes,
to that
everybody before it. It's
like, hey,
we're supporting our discipline.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Absolutely.
And we're giving glory to God, who is the King.
Yes. Amen.
There you go.
You even threw the Jesus juke in there, man.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right.
Love
So there we go. $2 million. Wow. I got a check. I got to write. All right.
We're gonna write that off the air and get it to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt, but I'll get it. I'll move some things.
You got to move some finances.
The thing
around.
is, I got a check-ins and a savings, but all the money's in the savings right
of course,
now, so it's going to take 2 to 3 business days.
Right.
Okay.
Sure. Well, on today's episode, Nicole's joining us. We're going to talk about the brand new devotional that is out, 30 Days of Praying for America. So exciting. We've already had people picking up their copies and telling us how much they're enjoying the book. And
it's actually the #1 bestseller on Amazon right now.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
100% of all time, really.
Of all time?
Of all time.
In the history of ever.
Yeah, so it was, let's see, it was the Bible,
Sure.
Shakespeare, Agatha Christie, and then I think we overcame came Shakespeare and Christie.
Wow. Second
With
only
an
to the
opening
Bible.
weekend. Yeah, with an opening
Wow,
weekend. Yeah.
amazing.
And that's not even a radio lie. That's what's crazy.
I cannot confirm nor deny any of this.
Yeah, I can't either.
We'll check those numbers.
But we're doing pretty well. People
Yeah,
are saying
yeah.
that how thankful they are and how timely this is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we were just sitting down a few moments ago and looking at, we have a TV monitor behind us that is constantly playing live TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, prior to this section here, I saw a police line and people throwing things against them
Mm-hmm.
and fighting. And it was pretty rough. And I was like, where is that going on?
Yeah.
And then someone said, oh, I think that's from 2020 or 2021, somewhere there. And I said, oh, okay. And maybe that was, or maybe it was live, I don't know. But it seems like it was last year or a couple of years ago. The heart behind this book was we have to write something
yeah.
that will speak to the church and to Americans in general.
True.
About what this nation means to us and what it has meant to countless people before us, and what it still means for people coming, like our children, our grandchildren, what it means for them.
Correct.
And so this book was written with that in mind.
Yeah.
Right.
I also look at it as in schools today, and Abaddon has actually mentioned this in his sermons, that history has been rewritten. A lot. Much has been rewritten. And in this book, you will find the truth.
Right.
The truth about the different stories, the different people that that he talks about in each of the chapters. So it's not something that's been rewritten.
Yeah.
So it's a history book, but it's also a devotional as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, like, you have to tell the truth even when it doesn't complement your side, quote unquote, as best as as best as you would like. You still have to tell the truth, and maybe that comes with just being a scholar. Maybe that just comes with being a Christian, or a mixture of both.
Right.
But the truth of our history is what we have to tell, even when it does. Like we said, it doesn't make us look great.
Right.
We say that in our introduction, in the kind of like the first few pages, Roman numeral 9 and 10. We say something like, there are characters or situations that are mentioned in here that you may not agree with. We're talking to the reader. You may not agree with them. Neither do we. We don't agree with them either.
Right.
On everything.
Right.
But that's what makes America what it is.
Right.
You have people from different backgrounds coming together with good and bad, with great qualities and faults and weaknesses and bad decisions, but somehow they make the tapestry of what America is today and what America is supposed to be. So, yeah, you'll find names, people you're going to say, wow, you mentioned them in here? Yeah, we did, because they too make up the American story. They may not be the best part of American story, but they do make up the American story.
It's not to, we didn't write it to sugarcoat what our history is. We're trying to say that the history is perfect. We're not that's not the goal of this book. It's to say, yes, these people were fallible, but yet they did these things, and this makes up the fabric of the United States.
Well, I think even in the title, it's kind of revealing. Like, this is the goal is not just to tell you the history, but to lead you to a place to where you can pray for America, which kind of implies America is in need of prayer.
Yeah,
Yes.
the subtitle is Daily Devotions to Heal, H-E-A-L, Heal Our Nation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's such a unique work. I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but it is a work of history, and I appreciate the honest look that the two of you have taken through American history. It's not all sunshine and rainbows every moment of the day. It's not all eagles flying and flags unfurled. I mean, there are
It's not like a Toby Keith song.
right. It's not. It's not. There are low moments. There are moments that aren't as glamorous, but I mean that's what has made America what it is today. But it's also a devotional. It's kind of the walks in both worlds. Talk about that a little bit. What was it like to write a devotional, but also with the emphasis on American history?
Well, I will say that when you look at the work, I believe that Ryan and John did a really good job in melding our two things together. Abaddon did the bulk of the research when it comes to the historical stories, and I just came along and I have read each one of them. And as I read them, I thought about how does this speak to me today? How does this change my life, or how does this make me want to be a better person, a better citizen? Whatever that question comes up in my mind, and then I would write a paragraph at the end just talking about how it can relate to us today in 2024. And then, like I said, John and Ryan did a good job in putting it all together so it doesn't sound
it's like one body of literature rather
Right.
than, okay, this is Nicole, this is Abaddon,
Right.
this is this is that. It's not like that.
Right.
It's not that disjointed.
What is it that you like about writing as a team, the two of you together, like coming together and bringing your perspective and your perspective into it?
I like it because I'm very strong, or very, how do I say, it's a big deal to me to represent the male and the female perspective. The man and the woman needs to be represented. Of course, in the church context, in the home context, I believe that God has called the man to lead and the woman to follow. So yeah, we do understand that.
Right.
But it's nothing like what some people make it out to be.
Right.
It's frankly, it's a lot of work. To lead there means you take responsibility. To lead there means you don't give up. You don't stop, give in and say whatever y'all want to do. To lead means you're trying to lead your family to follow Jesus Christ. To lead means you're trying to take responsibility for what doesn't work or is not working, and not say your fault or and we might do that sometimes, but overall we say no, it's my responsibility.
Right.
So I do believe in that. But when it comes to addressing the congregation or addressing people in this book, we want to make sure that both sides are reflected. And Nicole has a great spiritual mind, a heart. Mine may be more just digging in, finding the details, or forgotten parts of history, or things that have been left out, or revisionist history that's gone off the rails, and how to bring it back. So that's where my specialty comes. So bringing it together, it's just like our show. It speaks to the mind and the heart.
Right.
So I think Nicole does both. And I think she has a mind too. And I have a heart too. But it's kind of, we know who is more mind and who's more heart.
Yeah, we know who has the strength in what area.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the measure of a good team, is knowing where people's strengths are and amplifying each other's strengths and covering one another's weaknesses.
Yeah.
I think it's a really unique work as well, because I think it's really telling when someone who was not born here, who came here from the outside and fell in love with this place, even seeing its flaws, knows where they came from, knows listen, I understand America's got flaws, America's in need of prayer, America's in need of healing, I get all of that. But where I came from, the depravity that I've seen, the injustice that I've seen, that kind of third world mentality in the East that I came from, I'm telling you, this is still the greatest nation on earth. Sometimes it takes I hate to say an outsider, that's got connotations to it, but you know what I mean. Sometimes it takes someone like that.
A different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone who didn't grow up here, who grew up, in another country, but came here and, chose this country as your own. We can't say that. We didn't choose this country, although we do now. I mean, we are patriotic. We love America. But someone who chose to come here, someone who chose to make this their country, and still chooses
it still.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a
and
big
I
deal.
have chosen this country over my birth country now.
Yeah.
At one time, I would say, back home. I don't say that anymore because this is home.
Yeah.
So I had to shift my language as well, and I have, because I really believe that.
Yeah.
True.
And it doesn't matter what somebody thinks about me. I know what I believe. I know who I am. I know where I stand when it comes to America.
Yeah, but where you come from is such a deeply ingrained thing. It takes, I think one thing that I've seen in your example, and others as well, is that it really takes a strong mind to be able to do that. Because a lot of people who come to this country will get these benefits, but be like, man, I miss home. I miss my culture. I miss my people. I miss this. And not, knocking that it's bad to miss where you came from, but it's so part of their identity to change your identity and say, listen, the ideals here, the Christian foundation here, that's what my identity is, not the culture that I left.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I feel too, though, when you knowing your story, knowing your story, you were raised in India, but because you were raised in a Christian home, then you really weren't raised
like a
say,
typical
in the culture,
Indian
in the
kid.
culture,
Right.
in the culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you you really were kind of outside, so to speak, of the typical Indian culture.
That's a good point. Yeah. Like you were raised in the East, but almost with a Western mindset.
Yes.
So that when you came to the West, like, some things may have been kind of weird or strange, but the foundation was there.
Absolutely, it was very Western. And my parents chose to raise us that way. My dad came from a Muslim home, educated, very advanced in their thinking and their things they did and values they had, whether it's going to college or having technology. My dad grew up very advanced in that sense. My mom grew up very like an Indian Christian home, and they were more westernized because of their Christian background. As you know, my grandfather, my mom's dad's name was Thomas Franklin. That's where Thomas is named. My mom's name was Rebecca Weevil, and then she became a Franklin when she married my grandfather.
Right.
My mom's name was Edith. I mean, so they're very, very westernized in their upbringing. But when they came together to raise us as a family, they raised us very Western minded. I mean, my Bonanza comics, I didn't go buy them. I didn't know what that was. My dad had them. Gave them to me. The Enid Blyton, people here may not know, but in England they know Enid Blyton very well. They all came from my dad. Treasure Island. I was reading them as a kid. What's golly, so many Gulliver's Travels and Robinson Crusoe. All these things I was reading as a kid. My dad and mom made sure we learned those things.
I also think too that the different types of people that came in and out of your home. Growing up, not only I think you had a few Americans, but a lot of Europeans. That came to India either as missionaries or speakers or just I don't even know what all the reasons why they came, but they were coming through his Abadan's home when he was a child, and I feel like that has a huge bearing.
I'm sure.
We had a big bus pull up. This is in the 70s. I remember I was maybe 4 or 5 years of age, and they were known as the 32 Americans. 32 Americans, and these were all converted hippies who were they had come to India for a different purpose, and then they got saved, and so they bought themselves this bus, and they would go from place to place all over India preaching the gospel. And some places they were not welcome, some places they were welcome, whatever. But they heard about my dad, that my dad was a person who would take them in, who would take care of them, whatever. So they came there. They stayed for like several months.
Wow, just lived in the house?
Not in our house, but they lived in different people's homes.
Got you.
In the church.
Okay.
And then we also had a mission bungalow next door to the church in our parsonage. And so my dad was able to open that up, and there was no missionary there by this time. Dr. Shalander was living somewhere else at that point. So the whole group, or part of I think all the ladies lived there. So that was that. We saw that constantly.
That's incredible.
Of the information that you collected, and I know there's a lot that makes the devotional what it is, what is your favorite story from American history that you were able to research and bring to light in the devotional?
This is for you.
What do you think is my favorite one?
What do I think? Oh my goodness.
Or Nicole, even in reading and writing your paragraphs and your applications, what's your favorite?
Oh my goodness. There were several, though. There were several that I really enjoyed.
See as well, so I can send it to you.
I think I really enjoyed the Minutemen. Minutemen. When I enjoyed the Pastor Patriots, because that speaks to pastors being bold enough to speak the truth from the pulpit rather than being wimps. And not say, so, and that's huge, especially in today's society, not being wimps. I feel like those are the two.
My Vine and Fig Tree was my favorite one.
Favorite?
No, I wouldn't say necessarily. I mean, I loved them all. I mean, they all were very special. The beginnings was the very first chapter. Now anytime we say the rhyme, Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, or in 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue. That's like, you're talking about oppression. It's not about exploration.
Right.
And I agree. Many of those who came to these continents, they were not good people.
Right.
They came for greed and lust and power and gold and all kinds of junk. And they did a lot of damage. We definitely understand that. We don't need to minimize that either.
Right.
But also we need to balance it out by saying there were a lot of people who did come with the right motive, which was simply to have freedom. Freedom to live, freedom to worship, freedom to make their own destiny, freedom to plant the gospel in a part of the world that did not have the gospel.
Right.
And so they came to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. They came with a burden.
Yeah.
So that's our first chapter, actually, beginnings.
I really liked the one you did on the rotten blessings, which is taken from a sermon that you did on the book of Malachi, where it just talks about how the good things that America has become sort of corrupted. You know what I mean? Like one of the examples you gave was during Pearl Harbor, where they got this shore leave. And they had this day off that was supposed to be, that's a day for the soldiers to rest. And the first thing they do is they go get blackout drunk. They go visit the brothels. They come back to the base. They're completely wiped out. The Japanese find that out, and they're like, "That's the day we're going to attack Pearl Harbor."
They were researching for a long time.
Yeah. So it's one of the things that in his wisdom, God allows that kind of thing to happen, where it's like if you take these blessings and you don't use them appropriately, or you're not grateful, or you corrupt them, then those same blessings are the ones that will end up backfiring on you.
And a lot of people may not like that part of the history that, they were watching us, and this is, this was something that
Sunday was the day
that didn't help us look like a strong nation.
Right.
And I got that information. It's amazing because I make sure I best I can, I put in all the quotations or mention names. I got it from one of my favorite preachers, Donald Gray Barnhouse, okay, who was the pastor of 10th Presbyterian Church in Philadelphia. And he gave that story years ago. And I came across it, and I was like, wow, that is an amazing story.
Yeah.
And I've used it before. And when it came time for this book, one of the chapters is on rotten blessings. That our blessings have rotted, taking from Malachi. But God says, I've cursed your blessings. And he says that even their sacrifices, God says, I have cursed them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And he's talking to the priests. He's talking to the pastors, so to speak. He's saying, because you despised my name, because you took a blessing and used it for your own selfish benefit. Sunday is a day of blessing, right?
That's right.
A day to relax, a day to rest, a day to refocus your mind, a day to worship, but you've turned that into a day of debauchery.
That's right.
God says now it becomes a curse.
Yeah.
And Donald Gray Barnhouse is a real credit behind it. And I mentioned that in the book. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's some. I'm thinking back through the chapters now. There's so many that I could say were my favorite, and they're all my favorite for different reasons. But I think one of the ones that stands out to me is the one that has Ronald Reagan's letter in it to his father.
That was a good one too.
That one was one of my favorites. That was
good.
very powerful, just to hear his honesty in writing to his father-in-law and pleading with him to understand what the gospel is.
Yeah.
I mean that had a tremendous impact on me.
Yeah, that one came from one-time political correspondent and Washington Post columnist Karen Tumulty. She was writing a book on Nancy Reagan and came across that letter.
Wow.
And so she wrote an article. I read the article, and then on some website this letter is found. And so I used that, and I checked back and we'll make sure that's an actual letter. And sure enough,
that's the one.
That's the one.
Authorized.
It's a handwritten letter.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to just copy paste from some website, because there were some websites that have it, and there are mistakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I went to the actual letter that's photocopied and put online. And Karen Tumulty has sort of approved that that's the one that we have in this book.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
There's another one, and I don't want to give away all of them because it really is worth buying the devotional. But there's another one on the Danbury Baptists and the famous separation of church and state that we have completely. And it kind of goes along with the rotten blessings thing. Like, this is something that God gave us. God gave us this great nation that was founded on Christian principles, and we've taken that exact same concept and turned it on its head and said, no, it was always supposed to be separate. It was always supposed to be completely separated and not have any influence at all.
Yeah.
And now it's like we got what we asked for. Yeah. And now we're dealing with it.
Right. That's right. And people have misunderstood history. In fact, I would say many have misused history to say
misunderstood.
Yeah. Because our foundation is Judeo-Christian.
Yeah.
It was always.
Yeah.
The reason America works compared to other countries is because of the Judeo-Christian principles. They work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a, and I keep going back to this, but as a Christian, if you travel overseas, and I can tell you the first time that I went to India, I feel like that entire time I was in culture shock, because I have been overseas to other countries, but the countries I have been to were predominantly Roman Catholic. So it's not quite what I grew up with, but it was sort of familiar.
Yeah.
It was still Christianity. And to go to India, where India does not claim to be a Christian nation.
Right.
Yeah.
And it definitely is not. You, as a Christian who has been raised in the Bible Belt, so to speak,
Or just Christian
just with
values
Christian
in
values,
general. Yeah.
it was a shock.
Wow.
It was a shock to see, and people don't understand, and people don't realize how truly blessed we are in this nation to have a nation that has been based on
true.
these Judeo-Christian principles.
Amen.
And not just a thought,
Like a mindset
a
or a world.
mindset, a world. It's not even a worldview. I don't even know what to describe it as.
Yeah.
But it's completely foreign.
Unique, yeah.
It's completely foreign.
We're not saying for a moment that America doesn't have its problems or doesn't have those parts in history that are sad and shameful. Never for a moment will I say that. We have our faults. Having said that, it is still an amazing nation, the way it's been built.
Yep.
The founding fathers, the principles they used, or where they turned to find the philosophy to write the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, they used a lot of the Bible, and they used scholars who espoused principles that were found in the Lycian League, going back to the Greeks. We have a chapter on that as well.
That's right.
Which is going to be very unique because nobody has covered that.
Yeah.
Here and there has been written about, but as a devotional, it's not there.
Yeah.
But you're going to get to read it.
That's right.
All that to say, go get your copy of 30 Days of Praying for America right now. We need it now more than ever. It's a tremendous work. Dr. Shah and Nicole have done an amazing job of providing a balanced view of American history, but also in a way that connects it to devotional, that you can pray for our country, pray for the reunification of America, and for us to continue to be one nation under God. There's a link in the description box if you need to pick yours up. It's available online. It's available on Amazon as paperback and as an ebook. So if you like to go that route, that's available for you there as well. Or if you're local, swing by and let us know. We can grab a copy for you from our resource center right here in Henderson, North Carolina.
Amen.
Make sure you guys try it in and let us know. 252-582-5028. Let us know what you're excited about to read about in the book. And if you've already gotten a copy, let us know what chapter has been your favorite so far. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Don't forget, you can partner with us financially on that same website. Every gift that you give goes not only to building up this radio show, but countless other ministries for the gospel of Jesus. Lots of great content coming your way this week. Make sure you guys tune in. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Clearview Today.